Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is David Bianco. So we're on to the third installment of the Analogue Productions Atlantic 75th Series installment of releases. Here it is December 2023 and another three are out. This time they are all in the rock pop category. And the three are, first, a 4LP by 45 of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, classic Genesis album. The next is the self-titled album by Bad Company. We know that band on the Swan Song Led Zeppelin label. And lastly, the record I'm going to be doing in this vinyl shootout, Phil Collins' Hello, I Must Be Going. We'll get you the results next on the Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. So this 1982 release by Phil Collins entitled Hello, I Must Be Going is the second Phil Collins album on the Analogue Productions Atlantic 75th series. Now, just a reminder, the two Phil Collins titles are the ones that can only be pressed this year. There's very limited licensing agreement on this. So if these two are ones that you are considering or want, you might want to jump on the bandwagon and order them. Now, again, I am a subscriber to receive them all. I pay for my own. I get no considerations or discounts or anything from Chad and the team there because I want to judge these objectively like everybody else. I'm going to be showing you the equipment that I use. It's been a bit of a change because I've put my duals in for servicing. I only am using an NAD integrated amp now because my quad amp has gone on the fritz, or receiver actually. And I'm using now the Audio-Technica 540 ml cartridges that I have. So that being the case, what I decided I would do is take my American Allied pressing and compare it to my Germany pressing. Now, these both were mastered by Ian Cooper. The difference is the pressing plant, RS Alsdorf, is what was used for Germany and Allied for the US, but the same mastering was used. So I went through a comparison of the US versus the German, and they were very, very close. But I gave the edge to the German version. Had a little more dynamics, a little more punch to it, and it just felt a little cleaner. It felt like it was a little more pleasing to the ear. So taking that version, I then decided to compare it, of course, now to the Analogue Productions 2x45 RPM. Now, again, we all know that spreading these songs out across four sides provides some advantages, and the groove can basically be stretched out a bit. It doesn't have to get closer to the center, thus by promoting inner groove distortion. All sorts of advantages with the sonics potentially there. Now, is it realized? That's always the question. At the end of the day, can you really hear it? And I've got to say, honestly, you can. And the critical differences between the two, in my opinion, is that it appears that on the Analogue Productions, the sound is a little cleaner overall, a little crisper on top, but not crispy in the sense of too bright. Just a little more up there. And also the fact that the dynamic range of what is being presented seems broader. In other words, it seems like it can reach higher and reach lower in the dynamics as it's playing. Now, truth be told, the US and the German press that I played are no slouches. They sound very, very good. But when you take the Analogue Productions version and you do the A-B comparison, you can definitely realize that it's a cleaner presentation with more dynamic range, which produces really a more engaging and pleasing sound altogether. So in thinking about this release versus the previous Atlantic 75 Analogue Production Phil Collins release of Face Value, I thought about the gap or the delta between the two. And I have to say, honestly, the face value improvement on the Analogue Productions was more impactful and greater than the difference on this one. There definitely were songs that really got me and gripped me much more on face value, given the presentation that the 45 RPM on the AP gave versus this one. There was a lot more commonality in this one than difference to the OGs, although there were places where you obviously could tell it did excel in certain portions of the song. And again, I think you'll see that in the charts and the spectrographs that I'm going to show you. They were close. There were a few places where you could see the AP was able to reach a bit more and gain that upper hand, so to speak. But was it often enough? Was it extreme enough? Was it consistent enough? It certainly wasn't as much as what I think I heard when the face value hit me a few weeks or months ago when I did the review on that one. But again, this does represent the best of what is available, I think, especially when you consider the quietness of the vinyl. That is something that I listen for. And again, in some of the older recordings, as good as they are as originals, they do often have a noisier surface for a variety of reasons. Whereas we know there's newer, cleaner vinyl being used on these, especially records that we may have bought from other people that are older in the OGs. We don't really know how well they were cared for. We don't necessarily know how often they were played. So all of those factor in, where here you're starting with something brand new. So those are my thoughts on this recording. Thanks as always for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so by pressing on the bell below and picking the all option. And a thumbs up or like is appreciated for moving this video along. And also comments. If you have any, please put them down. Would love to chat with you through the Ethernet, so to speak. So for now, I say thanks again as always and take care. We'll talk to you next time when we take our next Safe and Sound Texas audio excursion. Take care, everybody.